Hi. If you've been involved in this wild seller's market that's happening in the summer and fall of 2020, you may have run into a term, escalation clause. What does that mean? Today we're going to dive into this document really quick and understand some of these terms and help put you in the driver's seat for your next transaction. In a market like we're experiencing right now, we often see escalation. We often see multiple offer scenarios, and you can see our video on what a multiple offer scenario is and how you can learn how to navigate that if you just look on our blog, or we'll put a link down below. We'll leave that to the magical editors. One of the ways that we can survive and actually win in a multiple offer scenario is to use what's called an escalation addendum. In Rhode Island, and this should pop up on your screen here momentarily. In Rhode Island, there is actually a form that was drafted by the Rhode Island Association of Realtors that's available to all licensed realtors on our MLS, and it's called an escalation addendum. And the first page that's going to come up that you're going to be able to see here, and I think it's written really well. So we're going to link it for you. We're going to make it available to you. This is an explanation of what an escalation addendum is. And essentially, when you're in a multiple offer situation, often the listing agent or the seller will say, I want everybody's highest and best offers right away. And what that means is you have to decide in your head, where are you topping out at, which just goes against the grain for all of us when we're doing real estate transactions, because we want to make an offer below what we're actually willing to pay and then kind of get forced up, right? In a multiple offer scenario, you have to come out right away with your absolute highest and best offer, but then you're like, oh my gosh, what if I overpay, and what if I could have bought it for less? One way to get around that is to use an escalation addendum. And an escalation addendum is a document that allows you, the buyer, to automatically increase your offer to try to outbid other buyers in a multiple offer situation. How does it work? The buyer includes a sales price in the purchase and sales agreement. So you're going to draft up your offer document. Here on the island in Newport, we tend to use purchase and sales agreements. There are other places in Rhode Island that just do offer sheets. Massachusetts does offer sheets. They all do it different ways, but essentially you're going to make your initial offer, just like you weren't in a highest and best scenario. Then you're going to say, if you, seller, get a higher offer, and it's in writing, and you can prove it to me, it's a bona fide higher offer, we're going to automatically increase our price to beat your better offer by X amount of dollars. So the seller has to give the buyer a copy of this higher bona fide offer, and that's what triggers your escalation addendum. The escalation addendum is a separate document attached to your purchase. So the scenario is, you, the buyer, and your agent submit your offer, and you attach this escalation addendum to it. And the seller says, great, thank you so much, I have your offer, and I have these other 4 offers. So when the seller comes back to you and says, hey, I'm giving you offered me, for round numbers, $300,000. Here's my proof that I got offered $305,000. By handing you that bona fide offer, they've now triggered your escalation clause. So depending on what your escalation clause is, your offer automatically went to $306,000 or whatever, $310,000, however much you said you were going to come up. The next thing to think about in an escalation clause is, do you want to cap that? And what I mean by that is, say your escalation clause says, I will offer you $300,000 plus I'll beat your next highest offer by $1,000. You can either leave it at that, saying you'll go up to $400,000 or $500,000, or not advised, on that same property until you win the bid. Or do you want to say, I'll go up to $320,000, so I'm going to offer you $300,000. I'm going to beat your next offer by $1,000 until you get an offer that reaches $320,000. That's capping. That means you're going to say, nope, this is as far as I'm going to go. And honestly, if you're financed or you're kind of savvy, you probably don't want to just pay anything that somebody's asking for a property. You probably want a cap. The downside to a cap is now that that seller knows how much you'll pay for it, and that's a conversation for you to talk about with your agent. You want a really, really savvy agent when it comes to doing these. As always, pro tip, make sure all of this is in writing. Best case scenario, in my opinion, is not to use self-drafted documents. You, the buyer, now you're aware there's already a drafted document on the Rhode Island MLS that's been vetted by attorneys that are experienced in Rhode Island real estate. If your agent's trying to do a manual one, can we suggest that we kind of point them back to this document? We'll make this available to you in a link down below. If we can answer any questions for you, the experienced agents at Warner Realty Group are happy to help. Give us a call. It's 401-662-7204, or check out our website at www.wrgri.com. Thanks for listening, and I hope you win.